chaos, something hours, the sweat on my back's got my shirt soaked and sour, you know, it's already gone. Second night's coming and I'm spinning back around. We're all caught up, can't hear or feel the sound, you know, it's already gone. And here comes the feeling when you don't got nothing and all you want to do is get up and start running. You can't hide long cause you know it's gonna start up again. Here's one thing that I know for certain, is life's too short to be worrying about you hurting for long. Oh, it's already gone. Got time but money's not something that's free. Seems the road that dies never rolls back to me, you know, it's already gone. A bird in my hand, two cans in the other, start spinning around. Now here comes another, you know, it's already gone. And here comes the feeling when you don't got nothing and all you want to do is get up and start running. You can't hide long cause you know it's gonna start up again. Here's one thing that I know for certain, is life's too short to be worried about you hurting for long. Oh, it's already gone.
What's up, Jags fans? We got it figured out. We are here ready to go on a Tuesday night. And you may think that there's nothing to talk about with the Jags in the offseason, but boy, are you wrong, because we have yet to do our schedule breakdown video. Now, this is not me predicting wins and losses. You guys know me. I would never do that. It's pointless. It makes no sense. You can't predict who's going to be healthy, who's going to be injured. But what we can do is preemptively look at the schedule, see what the Jags might have to do to win these games. So that's exactly what we're going to do. So we're going to go through each game. We're going to take a look. And most importantly than that, we're going to get your comments. This is a fan show. I'm a fan. You guys are fans. So get into the comments. Let me know what you think. You can tell me what you think the record will be. We're going to go like team by team and take a look. And so get in the comments and let me know what you think is going to happen here. If you missed the last show, I hate that for you because it was one of our best. We had Jags fans calling in, videoing in, talking about the Jags. So go back and watch that. It was really good. I really enjoyed it a lot. So thank you guys again for all of you that called in and those of you that commented. I really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. But tonight we're all things schedule. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow everything in the video description. Here's my Twitter. There's my other channel. There's Instagram. So follow all that stuff, and then we can connect there for the time being. Anyways, we always shout out the first one in the comment, and I got to give a special shout out to Sea Breacher, who was in before, while it was scheduled, and he says yo. And Sea Breacher, you know, he's on my Twitch a lot. So if you watch me on Twitch, which is in the video description, you'll see Sea Breacher. You'll hear Sea Breacher. He actually called it on the show. He was definitely one of our more interesting calls. So make sure to check that out. It was a lot of fun, though. So check that out here. Rod Jeep says the new stadium deal. Let's go. Yes. So the Jacksonville City Council just passed it. I think it was like 17-1 or 18-1 or 19-1. I don't know. There's only one nay. Good. Whoever that person is, vote him out, whoever it is. But all it has to do basically now is pass the NFL owners in October, and the Jags are here for 30 more years. So I love it. Get the new stadium done. They played a little promo video with Tony Vaselli narrated it. It was really good. I think Sea Breacher sent it to me. It was awesome. But yeah, I'm pretty pumped about that. That's brand new news that just happened today. So let's go. Hey, listen. You guys know me. I'm a Jacksonville guy, born and raised in Jax Beach. So this is where I live and where I'm going to stay. I'm pumped. I'm going to all the games. So super excited about that. Let's go. Oh, also, I can pump this now because it's already been pumped. But starting in like July, coming up, Wednesday nights, Jordan DeLugo, UCF Jaguar, and myself will be doing a weekly show called Jaguar Club. And be looking out for that. We were like on a group text today talking about it. It's going to be sick. So make sure that you're looking. I mean, that's going to be probably the thing I'm looking forward to the most coming up. So that's going to be Wednesday night. So go ahead and block off your Wednesday nights. We're going to be doing shows Wednesday nights talking about Jags. Me, UCF Jaguar, and Jordan DeLugo. Now that's a trifecta right there. I'm going to try to just hold my own. I'm just going to try to hold my own in that situation, but I'm super excited. We got some cool sponsors for the show. Like people are actually sponsoring the show. Like how wild is that? That people are going to pay us to sponsor their thing on that show. Like that's wild to me. Like, so we made it, boys. We made it. So I appreciate it. Nolly Full Cab. You can't see the Blake Bortles emojis, but they're there. And Nolly Full Cab came in. I love Nolly Full Cab's video when he called in the other day. Make sure to go back and watch it. Nolly Full Cab's got some things on the horizon too that I'm super excited about him for. And I cannot wait to promote that for him. I don't want any kind of I don't want anything in return. If you have a business or you have something that you guys do and you're one of these people that are here all the time, hit me up, dude. I will pump what you're doing so much. So just hit me up and I'd love to do it. Brett Zimmerman says, yo, what's up, Brett? Hope everything's going good. Hope you're still doing your streams. Robert Adsert says, no more sun. I like, oh, I get what you're saying with the new stadium. With the new stadium with the there's gonna be an overhead. Thank God. Dude, I can't remember what year it was. I want to say like 2018. Green Bay Packers, like week 1 or 2. Dude, I literally almost died. The Patriots game in 2018 that we won and then went on a losing streak, hottest game of all time. Some of these Titans game, I mean, dude, I am not mad about there being a covering over the stadium. As someone that goes to the games, almost every single game, I'm not mad about that at all. Shay is here, dude. Oh, Shay. Oh, channel member Shay. Cheers to the Jags and another 30 plus years in Jacksonville. I'm pumped because I think that now we're going to have the ability to have Shay maybe be a part of the show a little bit more. Maybe. I kind of hinted at that the last time we talked. So we'll see. Hopefully he will. I got this new software here where I can show the chats and all that, and it makes it a lot easier for people to be on the show. So that's for sure. Never want to hear moving to London again. That's right, Robert. BT says, thrilled about the stadium, but more importantly about securing the Jaguars in Jacksonville. I like that, BT. Channel member BT, well said, well done. I like that. JJ Sports Coverage says, hello. What up, JJ? Jaggernaut says, what's up, Jags United? That first Super Bowl is going to look great in that new shiny stadium, eh? Well, unless we win this year. But it's still, I see what you're saying. The trophy will go in the new stadium when it's built. I'm with you. I'm with your logic. Lonesome Not I says, what say there, Bubba? UCF Jaguar, hey, let's go. UCF Jaguar, super excited. Thank you, UCF Jaguar. I tell UCF Jaguar every time I talk to him, thank you. He's the one that put me onto YouTube. He's the one that put me on to all you guys. Thank you, guys. Thank you, UCF Jaguar. Thank you. New stadium is awesome. Whole new visual on Sea Preacher. I know. And it's not for the better. Like it's not for better. Like he's got some serious reconstructing to do of his reputation, but I think he can do it. He's pretty good at GeoGuessr. He's hit or miss on Rainbow Six Siege, but I think he can do it. I really do. I also do think he cheats on GeoGuessr. I think he just inspects the image of the page and then searches it. I think he cheats, but that's okay. If you watch the Twitch, you'll know what I'm talking about. I missed this one. Jags better play in the swamp, not Orlando, says Lonesome Not I. Plus, RIP Julio Fulio. Hey, Jason, you should switch the Taylor and Reddick jerseys in the background. Got to see that teal, baby. I'm a big Reddick guy, dude. I'm a big Reddick guy. I've been telling you, when I was young, and I played every sport besides baseball. I never played baseball, but basketball. I loved playing basketball, and I modeled my game after JJ Reddick, like when he was at Duke, when he was at Orlando, And he's just continued to be good. Podcasts, ESPN. Now he's coaching the Lakers. I love it. Isaiah Jones says 30 more years of Duval. Let's go. 40 more days of Jaguars Nation. Let's go. Seaver says, I'll come back strong. I love it. I love it. Breacher, stick to Madden. I do like that. I'm not going to lie. All right, so let's take a look here. We're going to let me see if I figure how I can do this. I've got it figured out. Are you ready for this, boys? Look at this. Look at this. Let me pull up my pin tool here. All right, so we're going to take a look at every game here. All right. Every game. I don't know how long this show is going to go. I thought about breaking it down into 2 different shows where I did like weeks 1 through 8 and then 9 through 18. And then I was like, you know what? I don't think else to do tonight. What am I going to do? Let's just talk about the Jags. So that's what we're going to do. Maybe I can zoom in a bit here. This helps a little bit. Okay. All right. So we're going to go game by game here, boys. So I'm going to give you plenty of time to talk about everything here. First game of this, and now I got some bad news, boys. I got some bad news. Games 1, 2, and 3 are against 11 win teams from last year. Yeah. All playoffs. Then our 4th game is against a 10-win team who went deep into the playoffs. And then our 5th game is against a team that almost made the playoffs. Missed it by 1 game. So weeks 1 through 5 have potential to be either really bad or really good. Either we win a lot of them and we think our team is good, or we don't win very many of them and we are in trouble. Then we go to England for Chicago and New England, which again, we should be able to beat those 2 teams, but it's in England. Then we got Green Bay, who's a playoff team, Philadelphia, who's a playoff team, Minnesota, who we should beat, and then Detroit, who's a playoff team. So the schedule is not the first 11 games to the bye week, not looking great for us. But that's okay. That's okay. Hashtag says dad. He says that every week. I'm starting to actually wonder. Because I had an interesting 20 from my 20s were pretty interesting. Like, is there a chance that I have a son or a daughter? I don't think so. Miami is a coin flip, all depending on our defense. Maniac Slap says, am I late or early? Squad, you are early, my man. We are here 13 minutes in. You are super early. Lonesome Not I says, LOL, is T-Law's contract money like a third of the stadium costs? That's a good point. That's a good point. Want to know, great start, statement game. Trying to get some tickets, some of them tickets to the Green Bay. 0-1 is a tough start, is tough. 2-0 in England again. We cook in Miami week 1. We cook in the Bills, and we cook in Houston at Houston again. Jaggernaut says a 4-1 start. We split with the Texans, but we win the division. Texans have that first place schedule. I mean, this schedule doesn't seem much easier than a first place schedule at all. I mean, we can scroll down here. I mean, it gets a little bit easier on the back half with, not Houston. That's pretty tough, but Tennessee is better. New York with Aaron Rodgers, we don't know. Vegas, hopefully easy. Tennessee, we don't know. Colts, this is not an easy schedule. This is not an easy schedule at all. And Brenneman says, yeah. I love it. All right, so we're going to start this Miami game. All right, so let's take a look at Miami and what we're going to be doing here with Miami. So Is there sound now? Is there sound now? Okay, that one's on me, boys. That one's on me. I'm still learning how to use all of these. I'm still learning how to use this new program. I'm using StreamYard. Okay. So I just got it and I'm still learning how to use it. So forgive me. So Miami can go one of two ways. I don't know what you guys heard last, but apparently Miami is not. The latest news is they're not offering Tua market value for the contract. Now, Trevor Lawrence set the market value with his deal. So basically they're just saying we're not paying you what we paid Trevor Lawrence, which is fine. So this goes one of two ways. Way one is Tua is like, screw y'all. I'm about to ball out and be the best quarterback I've ever been and dominate. Or way two, he's pissed. His head's not in it, even though he's got the weapons around him and he doesn't play well. So it could go one of two ways. We look at their offense. Their running backs are pretty stacked with Raheem Mostert and Devin Achane. Obviously, their receivers with Hill and Waddle are both good wide receivers. Offensive line looks pretty strong. They did lose in the first round of the playoffs last year with that super cold game. They came out strong last season at 6-2. In their season, they were 11-6, but they did lose the last four. They lost 4 out of the last 6. All right. They do have Isaiah Wynn at left guard, who I don't think is a good guard. But they do have Calais Campbell, and we all like Calais Campbell. So I think that game is a coin flip. Whoever said that game is a coin flip, we can go back to it. That was spot on. I don't know how it's going to look. I tend to think that the Dolphins, with their talent that they have, obviously not being injured, has a stronger roster than the Jags do. But again, you can't account for penalties, turnovers, anything like that. So I don't know how it's going to go. I think it'll be a good game. I do worry about our secondary, which I've said a lot, covering Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. I really do. So we'll see what happens there. Brett Zimmerman says, I really think we are going 10-7 and missing the playoffs. Sadly, the AFC is loaded. Lonesome Nada says, no excuses, T-Law and Dougie. They must make the playoffs. Isaiah Jones says, and Isaiah Jones gave a great life lesson. I made a little life lesson cut up on the YouTube and Instagram. You got to check it out. Isaiah Jones gave it a great life lesson. I really enjoyed it. Isaiah, I'll just tell you, like, personally, like, I went back and watched it a couple times because I cut the video and I edited it and all that. Yours, like, every time I watched it, like, kind of hit me differently and like deeper. So I appreciate that. Like, I know you're probably a profound man with wisdom, but just so you know, every time I watched yours, every time I was like, that was good. So shout out to Isaiah there. He says, my prediction for the first 5 games is loss, win. That'd be quite the start. It'd be quite the start. He goes on to say, essentially, going to be a 6-game win streak. President says, Jags United record prediction time. I'm late. I don't give record predictions. You guys know that. I do not give record predictions. I'm not going to do it. Why? So I can bring it up if I'm right and not bring it up if I'm wrong? That's disingenuous. We are not disingenuous people around here. I can't predict how the season is going to go. Obviously, everyone's not going to be healthy. I mean, we look back at the schedule here. Like this, we look back at the schedule. Obviously, we don't know. Like Detroit, it was really good last year. But what if Jared Goff gets hurt? Then they're probably not that good. Or the Jets were really bad last year. But what if Aaron Rodgers is balling? Like, how? How are we going to sit here and predict? I think it's a waste of, and no offense to anybody. No offense. I just personally think it's a waste of time to sit here and like guess, because who would have thought that the Jags would have done what they did last year? Do you think anyone predicted the Jags season to go the way that it did? No, they didn't, because if they did, they would have brought it back up like 10 times. I would have thought we beat Titans both times and we lost to them in the last week of the season. So absolutely not. Rajiv says, big moment against Miami to see what Nielsen can come up with on defense. Yeah, that's true. I mean, we'll get to see, does that press man work against receivers with elite speed like the Dolphins have? Or does he play it differently because of the elite speed that the Dolphins have? Zenith RX says, I don't think the Dolphins or the Bills were as good as they were last season. Free agency ripping apart. Isaiah Jones says 10 wins should get us into the playoffs. JJ says, I think the offense needs to be more relevant to our record. I think the offense needs to be more relevant. Our record might be 11-7. I hope so, man. I sure do hope so. Lonesome Not I says, T-Law better have 10 300 passing yards games, or are we going to be back to clown? It's a lot. That's a lot of passing yards. Sea Breacher says, I know a potential third straight season of going 9-8 isn't exactly, or I'm sorry, I can't read tonight, isn't exciting, but boy, it's a whole lot better than previous Jags team winning single low-digit games. This schedule just looks tough off the rip, man. It just does. Isaiah says, thanks, man. Or at least 11 wins, says Robert. Sea Breacher says, I don't give record predictions. Jags United, I've watched him give a record prediction for the last 5 years. Oh, you have, huh? That's crazy. That's crazy, Sea Reacher. Proof for it didn't happen. XD Gamer says, why are the good games away? I don't know. The best game is the Packers game. Yeah, it really is. What other good games are on the schedule? I mean, if Aaron Rodgers is playing, I guess it'd be cool to see Aaron Rodgers. Tennessee will be good. Houston will be good. Yeah, you're right, though. No good home games this year. If healthy, Robert goes on to say. Lonesome says, I think the defense will take us far this year. I'm just kind of sketched out about Trevor Lawrence, a.k.a. Kirk Cousins 2.0. Just kidding. Big test against Houston Texans is going to be a fun one. I think we can pull out this offense. Brett says, don't get me wrong. We started strong last year, but really bad play calling was the main reason we sputtered at the end of the season. I'm genuinely thinking Trevor Lawrence's contract is going to hamper us. I don't know. I mean, I've talked about play calling a lot. I don't know what the coordinators are supposed to do when you can't run the ball up the middle and you can't protect Trevor for more than 3 seconds. So what are you supposed to do? You throw it to the flat, you throw sweeps, you throw, the short routes over the middle. I mean, you can't. They were hamstrung so much by the offensive line that there wasn't much the play calling could do. Unfortunately, I know. Get creative. Okay, easier said than done. Brenneman says, is the schedule tough, or are we just underestimating the strength of our team? The second half of the schedule looks very winnable. That's true. I mean, you got games like Minnesota, the rookie quarterback, Tennessee, who we historically are good kind of against, Vegas with a Gardner Minshew / Aiden O'Connell, the Jets who can't keep Rodgers healthy, the Colts who we've beaten, New England. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I don't know, man. All right, let's move on to the second game here. Second game is versus Cleveland. It's our first home game is against Cleveland, so that's good. Cleveland's a good team. Cleveland's a good team. They were 11-6 last year. Like, I didn't even realize that they were that good last year, especially with the carousel of quarterbacks that they had. They used 5 different quarterbacks last year. 5. And I know they beat us, but they used 5 different quarterbacks. Week 14, they beat us 31-27. Their offense isn't bad, man. Amari Cooper, Jerry Jeudy, Elijah Moore, Nick Chubb, David Njoku. They just gave the head coach Stefanski and the GM Andrew Berry extensions, like literally like today or yesterday. So they like what they have there. They didn't do much in the draft. They only had a second-round pick, and they took a defensive tackle out of Ohio State, Mike Hall. So they're going to be essentially the same team. I know the Jerry Jeudy edition was kind of late, but not a bad team. Defense is obviously good with Nick Chubb, all those guys. As far as the good home games, Isaiah Jones says it's only the Texans and the Packers, sort of. Robert Atwood says really bad O-line killed the Jags. Lonesome Not I says, Butter United. There's got to be pessimistic Jags fans in here. 40 ounce of Ice House. The good stuff for the win. Ice House, huh? I don't know if I've had an Ice House ever in my life, which is weird to say, because it may be the only beverage in that realm that I could say I've never had. Even talking about things like Rolling Rock, Natty Ice. I don't know if I've ever had an Ice House. I imagine what it tastes like. I don't think I've ever had one. If we can get into the bye above plus 500, I like our chances to make the playoffs. So that's week 12. So it would be technically impossible to be. It would be possibly 500. We'd have to be 6-5. But yeah, you're right. That first half of the season's tough. Those two England games, Chicago and New England, those have to be must wins. Those have to be must wins right there. But I think we can beat Cleveland. I really do. I mean, Deshaun Watson is a big question mark. We still don't really know what he is. He was decent when he played last year, but we were kind of on a free fall when we played Cleveland last year. So it's kind of hard to get an accurate gauge of how we're going to play against them this year. And again, Nielsen is kind of the big question mark there. We don't really know like how the defense is going to look or anything like that. Atrid says that Watson sucks. He got that money. So did Trevor. I'm not going to blame Trevor. This is from Brett. I'm not going to blame Trevor and Dougie P completely, but we only won one game at the tail end of last season. Tampa Bay, Tennessee, Cincinnati. We should have beat. JJ says, Jaguars, I might go to that game. How are the Browns when they have to travel? I don't know. Probably not as good like most teams, except the Jags last year. What about Steely Reserve? I haven't had that either. You're right. And I've even had like, what's the one that's like $2? Not Steely Reserve, but I forgot what it was called. Natty Daddies. Have you ever had a Natty Daddy? Eek. It tastes like it tastes like this is what a Natty Daddy tastes like. Imagine taking a Ziploc bag of pennies and then pouring water into it, zipping the bag up, shaking it for 10 minutes, and then pouring that water into a cup and then drinking it. That's what Natty Daddies taste like. But when you're in college and you have $20 in your bank account and you can get 8 tall boys for $18. Watson can only play good when he gets butt massages. Chris W says 15 wins. I love it. And Joku killed us last year. We need to handle him. Mickey's. Not Mickey's either. You're right, dude. You're really showing how inexperienced I am with these low-end light beverages. For the Packers game, would you do a collab? Sure. Yeah, I'd love to. Hit me up. We honestly could have had like 11 wins if Trevor and Kirk were healthy. I like that, Isaiah. Natty Daddy, give you that 2-day hangover. All right, let's move on. Week 3 at Buffalo. So, although I'm not scared of Buffalo, especially with the loss of Diggs. They also lose Micah Hyde. Like, they lost some people. What I don't like is traveling to Buffalo on a Monday night at 7:30 on ESPN. The Jags typically don't play well at these primetime games, these Monday night games. We saw what happened last year. Hopefully the moment's not too big for them. Don't love that it's in Buffalo, but at least it's in September and not like December. That is a doubleheader that night as well. So it's not like the only game that night. So maybe that'll take some of the pressure off of us. But again, there's the third team in a row that we have to play that had 11 wins. They lost in the second round. They lost to Kansas City by 3 points in the second round of the playoffs. Their receivers take a huge step back this year. They're looking at like Khalil Shakur, Keon Coleman, Curtis Samuel. And I know Josh Allen's one of these guys that can elevate the play of those around him. But that 3 is not very exciting. Is it Christian Kirk, Gabe Davis? Maybe a little more exciting than that. I don't know. They could be on par there, honestly. I don't know. We'll see. What else? Dalton Kincaid, Dalton Knox, both good tight ends. They're really excited about Christian Benford and Rasul Douglas at DB. I don't know how good they're going to be, but they are excited about them. Oh, Brian Thomas Jr. How could I forget? Rookie Brian Thomas Jr. Natty Daddy reminds me of Xanax drip. Orange Park. Them shits do get you right and get you there quick, says Maniac Slap. Yes, they do. We used to do, not we, some people I was around, I may not have partaken. They would do the Natty Daddy challenge where you had to drink 4 tall boys of Natty Daddies in an hour. Okay, listen, you guys don't want to meet 20-year-old me. I'm telling you right now. Not a good person. There was no life lessons coming out of 20-year-old Jags United. There was not. There was Natty Daddy challenges. They were doing things that I would recommend most people not do now. That's what I would say. Just beat by Houston for the Lord Almighty. They lost some key defenders last year earlier in the game. When we beat them, they could surprise us. Yeah, when they lost Matt Milano in the game, I know that was huge for them. They hated that. King David says, a lot of people are overlooking our defensive coordinator, what he brings to the defense. Ryan Nielsen. It's a good point. I mean, I'm not overlooking it. I just don't know. I guess I'm cautiously optimistic, which is the word that people that don't want to commit like to use, like myself. Brian Thomas Jr. and Gabe Davis are going to eat. Kevin Lumpkins says the stadium on the way. We up, boys. Yes, sir. That's how we started the show. Doing a little exciting thing there. Yeah, glad the Jags are in Jacksonville for another 30 years. Thank you. Thank you, City of Jacksonville. Thank you, Shad Khan. Thank you, City Council. Future, thank you to the NFL owners who are going to say yes to that deal in October. Isaiah Jones says we played good in prime time. It's that one Ravens game when we are going downhill. Yeah, that's true. I guess you're right. Trev going to show out in Buffalo. They sleep. Y'all let them sleep. We up. He goes on to say, King David, I want them so we can smack people on live TV. No excuses. And I mean, maybe Gabe Davis has a revenge game. I didn't think about that. Maybe Gabe Davis comes out and says, all right, Buffalo, you don't want to pay me. He is known for being feast or famine. If you're betting on somebody, you're probably betting that his feast game is going to be against his former team. That's something. That's something. JJ says Buffalo are the most harvested opponents. You know what I can get the Cats. I think the Cats got this one. I need to be more optimistic. Okay. I'm sorry, Sea Breacher. That's my bad. That's on me. Maybe if we stay injury-free, 15 games isn't at 15. I would have rocked with 20-year-old United, but the Middleburg boys I was with probably wouldn't have mixed well with the Jax Beach crew. At 20, we would have gotten together well. I think so. Maybe like high school, maybe we wouldn't have. But in our 20s, we would have done it for sure. Listen, I know all about Middleburg. Listen, I'm from Jacksonville. I know all about Middleburg. Yeah. So people who say Jack's moving to London, those rumors aren't happening. Atlanta had nobody going from 28th D to top 12 or better. Maniac says our defense got cooked by Jake Browning in primetime. I was at that game too. Unfortunately. All right, moving on. Week 4 at Houston. You guys already know how I feel about Houston, man. I'm a little scared of Houston. 10-7 last year. That's 43 wins last season through our first 4 opponents. It's a lot of wins. 43 wins last season, our first 4 opponents. Houston, they lost to the Ravens in the second round of the playoffs last year. They got waxed 34-10. They did win out of their last 11 games they played. They won 8. So they did end on a high streak. I kind of do like to look at that for how the next season's going to go, which is not good for the Jags, but that's okay. We can change course. Their offense, Amari Cooper, Jerry Jeudy, Elijah Moore, Nick Chubb. That's the wrong team. Their offense, CJ Stroud, Joe Mixon, Damian Pierce, Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins, Tank Dell, Dalton Schultz, Laramie Tunsil, Kenyon Green, Juice Scruggs, Shaq Mason, and Titus Howard. That's their offense. Their defense, Will Anderson, D'Amico Autry, Danielle Hunter, Azeez Al-Shaair, Derek Stingley, Jimmy Ward, Jalen Petrie, Jeff Okudah, and then the all-star Foley Fatukasi. That's a solid squad, bro. I listen, I'm not going to say they're staying injury-free. I'm not saying that they're going to all be there and they're all going to play, but that's a solid squad. It's a solid squad. Would you have given up a first for Ayuk? No, I wouldn't have. Because you're going to have to pay Ayuk. Like, I think his contract was 25. I think his contract is $25 million on his 5th-year option. And then you'd have to extend him. He would probably be somewhere between Michael Pittman and Calvin Ridley money. Probably closer to Calvin Ridley money. I just don't really want to pay that. You drafted Brian Thomas Jr. I'm okay with that. I'd rather get an offensive lineman than a receiver at this point. Beat Houston. I hate them like the Seminoles. The Bengals game I watched with my girlfriend's soon-to-be fiance, congratulations, who is a Bengals fan. Oh, man, she let me hear the end of it. Brenneman, you don't just win Offensive Rookie of the Year as a fluke. C.J. Stroud will be good on par with Trevor. Stroud will be on his back with our new interior push. Okay, I like that. I like that. Damian Pierce, bittersweet. Damn Texans, I can't stand them. They're going to get close to Titans territory. You know what's funny is like growing up a Jags fan, I remember watching the Jags in the early 90s, but like I don't know. Like that was like when I started remembering watching sports because I was like 10 years old. And like I just always hated the Colts. Always hated the Colts. And I like Anthony Richardson and I like what the Colts are doing now. But I've always hated the Colts. And they will always be my most hated team. I like Anthony Richardson, but they will. I think it was Peyton Manning had part to do with it. But I will always hate the Colts more than any other AFC team. And I know right now it's the Texans, the Titans. I get that. I get like recency bias, but I will always and forever hate the Colts more than any other team. Did Houston make any changes to their O-line? The pass rush made some splash plays last year against them. So their O-line right now is Laramie Tunsil at left tackle. He was kind of injured off and on. Kenyon Green, who I think is pretty decent at left guard. Juice Scruggs at center. Shaq Mason at right guard. And Titus Howard at right tackle. That's a pretty solid O-line. That's pretty solid. I think we'll humble them at least once. Diggs will be the tough test. I'm not expecting them to play as clean as last year. That's a good point. It is hard to be that good multiple times. It really is. Although they did come on the season late. You're right. It is hard to do that. And it's hard to stay as healthy as they did. I mean, yeah, their coach, Damian Pierce, is going – not Damian Pierce. Their coach is going into their second year. Slovic, their offensive coordinator, is going into his second year. Houston has done a great job of surrounding their young stars with high-level vets. Imagine doing that. Imagine that. Imagine that. (2007) Garrard threw 3 picks. Never repeated that. Definitely humbling in the first matchup in our defense in the division full of ops. I like the slang we're using tonight. I hated the Colts because of Peyton Manning and the bane in my existence in Madden. Peyton's Colts had to respect Reggie too. Yeah, Reggie Wayne. The other receiver they had. I mean, they were a good team. Do you think we keep that Georgia CB? He gonna want to get paid? Tyson Campbell. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think this year will be a good year to see what his worth is. Hopefully he stays healthy for a decent amount of games so we can get a fair evaluation on what he's worth. He's good when he's healthy. He really is. Seems like every year the Colts start like 10-0. LOL, I hate them. I got that one ready. Do you think we will have a great run game this year? No, I don't. Because we're running it back with the same offensive line, minus Luke Fortner and Mitch Morse. And I know that's a big deal. I'm not understating or selling how big of a deal that is, but we were so bad at running the ball last year. I refuse to believe that one person made it like that. I refuse. I refuse to believe that 20% of the offensive line caused 100% of the offensive problems. I refuse to believe that. There's obviously more problems than that. And I don't even know if health was that big of a deal. It was, Cam Robinson, when he played, was healthy. Ezra Cleveland maybe wasn't healthy. Brandon Sheriff, but I just don't know. It's hard for me to believe that Luke Fortner singularly was the reason the Jags could not run the ball or give Trevor protection. Robert says, we got tape on him and defense isn't going to allow 330 a game. Nothing cheap, nothing deep. I like that. If he stays healthy, he's a solid cornerback for sure. If the season turns out to be a disaster, at least keep the streak against the Colts in Jacksonville alive. Okay, let's move on to the next game because we are 40 minutes in and we are up to week 4. I'm sorry, guys. And I'm not even ranting about my personal life. This is like you guys. I like this one better. I like this one better. All right. This is you guys' fault, which is fine. I love it. I'd rather talk to y'all than me talk anyways. All right, moving on. Indy, second home game of the year. Week 5, we're coming back after 3 road games. 1 o'clock against Indy. Again, Indy's another team we don't know a lot about. We take a look at Indy. We take a look at the fact that Anthony Richardson's going to be a guy that's coming back. They were 9-8 last year. They barely missed the playoffs with that loss to the Texans at the end of the year. Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman. They drafted Adonai Mitchell, and a lot of you guys wanted Adonai Mitchell. I think their biggest weakness in offense is their right tackle, Braden Smith. I think he's not very good, and I think Trevon Walker or Josh Allen will eat on him. Defense isn't terrible. Kwity Paye, DeForest Buckner, EJ Speed, Zaire Franklin. Their DBs of Juju Brents, Julian Blackmon, Nick Cross, and Kenny Moore. That might be where they're weak on defense, but I don't necessarily think they're terrible. But that may be where Trevor has a good game against those guys. So will be a tough test. I could see us split with Houston. I could see us splitting with the Colts. I really could. King David says, I still say the best of Jags will be better without Press Taylor. You'd be in the majority. I think most Jags fans feel that way. I don't know if I do. I don't think Press Taylor and Doug Peterson are calling plays that differently, looking at how closely they're connected at the hip and where they've been together everywhere. I don't think they'd be that different, but I don't know. It seems like that their offense was good when he was calling plays, and it seems like they were bad when Press started calling plays, so maybe you're on to something. But I just don't know. Do we think we can be better this year? Again, it's all about staying healthy. It's all about the quality of opponents when we get to play them. When we look at the back half of our schedule, there's no telling what those teams are going to look like. There's no telling. Do they make a trade? Is Minnesota in week 10 somehow in playoff contention with, is it Sam Darnold? Are they somehow in playoff contention with Sam Darnold? Do they make a trade for somebody? And then now we're not even thinking about this player being on the Vikings because it's so late in the season. I think our team, I was talking with C. Breacher about this on Twitch earlier today. I think our team is good. I don't think our team is as good as last year. But if we stay healthy this year, we will be better than what we ended the season last year. So I think our team is good enough to make a run. But it's going to all depend on the health of these players. It really is. Isaiah Jones says, I became a Jags fan since 2015 or 16, so primarily it was the Titans and the Patriots. However, the Texans on the rise. Colts are my least hated because their fans are not as annoying as the other two. That's a good point. Their fans aren't super annoying. You just missed the Peyton Manning days. That's what you missed out on because he would just run us ragged when he'd come through town. Run us ragged. Luke Fortner's the reason. How do I feel about Ezra? I don't know if we've seen him healthy. Even when we traded for him, was it in the middle of 2 years ago? Or was it last year? When we traded for him, he was never healthy. He was injured when they traded him. So I don't know. If he's healthy, is he good? I know we kind of restructured / extended him. He's got the name, right? He's been in the league. He's got the experience. He's got the size. He's got the build. He's got the ability. He even played some tackle last year. It's just I want to believe. I think he can do it. And honestly, I'd say the same thing about Brandon Sheriff. I think he can do it. I've just seen enough to know that he hasn't. And we would be idiots to be sitting here at the end of this season again talking about the offensive line holding us back for a second straight year. We would be idiots for that. Fortner was running into our guards. We should have kept Wani. Even he was too quick for the snaps, but God, is it close to be football? So I don't know what a single word of that comment means. A single comment. This is an automatic win. We all know why. No discussion needed. We always beat the Colts at least once. Eagles are a huge problem. We get blown out by 70 burger. I mean, is it first half of the season last year Eagles or second half of the season last year Eagles? What we heard about week 5. Honestly, it was up the middle was where most of the pressure was. Anton got an A grade and Luke was the only one axed. Okay. Yo, but real talk, when are you going to put that Blackman jersey up? I know you got one. I actually don't have a Blackman jersey. I have a Matt Jones jersey. I do, but I do not have a Blackman jersey. Tugboat Hodges will be the key. I'm glad you brought him up. I'm excited about Cooper Hodges. I'm just kind of bummed he got hurt last year because there was a lot of praise for him. There's a lot of people that were really like looking forward to him playing, even though he was a later round pick. Like I'm down. Like let's see what he's got. I became a Jaguars fan since Maurice Jones-Drew was in my bloodline. I might need to hear more about that. I told you guys last show is what he meant to say. Thanks, T Breacher. Thanks for that optimism that you so kindly requested earlier. Thank you for that optimism. All right, moving on. Versus Chicago in England. Now, I don't think a first-round pick has ever won more than 8 games besides Andrew Luck. I'm misquoting that somewhere, but it's something like that. Okay, so a first-round pick. I'm sorry, a number 1 overall pick. A number 1 overall pick in the recent memory has not won more than 8 games besides Andrew Luck. Or maybe it was Ben Roethlisberger. No, he wasn't a number 1 overall pick. Never mind. A number 1 overall pick has not won more than 8 games because the team that you go to is always so trash that you can't win games. Now, the Bears had that first pick by proxy by trading. So with the Panthers, so maybe there's a chance. But the Bears, let's take a look at what the Bears have to offer. Obviously, Caleb Williams is going to be the wild card there. They did really upgrade their receiving core. Okay, so at running back, they have DeAndre Swift, who we all know is a good running back. They had 7 wins last season, but 5 of those 7 wins were in the last 8 games of the season. So they started really poorly, and then they actually went on a little bit of a run at the end of the year. Check out their receiving core. Okay, now we know DeAndre Swift can play as a running back / receiver. DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Roma Dunze, and Cole Kmet. I don't know about you. I might trade the Jags receivers for that. I may trade running back, 3 receivers, tight end, DeAndre Swift, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Roma Dunze, and Cole Kmet. I don't know. Like, that's maybe a fair trade when you look at how effective Evan Ingram is. But Roma Dunze and Keenan Allen and DJ Moore? Now, obviously, defense, you have Montez Sweat, Tremaine Edmonds, Kevin Byard, who we all know from the Titans. Jalen Johnson's had a really good season last year. He was actually one of the highest graded corners last year in the whole league. I don't know, man. I mean, like, I think we win, but I don't know what the over-under is on the Bears. Again, it's all going to come down to Caleb Williams. Ezra was the 8th best guard in the NFL prior to the Jags. He'll be healthy. But I'm not saying you're wrong, Robert, but take a look at how good Brandon Sheriff was when we came to the Jags. Or think back to, remember when we got Andrew Norwell. Andrew Norwell was an all-pro before he came to the Jags. Sometimes it doesn't work out. And I'm not saying you're wrong. And Ben Bartch was worse than Shalley. If a deaf guy goes to court, is he still considered a hearing? Yeah, I think so. Because it's not it's an is it a, what's the word when it's two words but it's different things? Can't remember, like same word but different meanings. So it's the same word, and a hearing is a court hearing, not like I'm hearing sound waves in my ears. I know it's a joke and it's funny, but to answer your question, it is still a hearing. They'd probably do sign language. There's probably someone on staff with the court office who does sign language. He underthrew Brian Thomas Jr. every game at LSU. Trevor's record versus AFC South is 9-9, my friend. Jeremy thinks Tay-Law is a bust. ETN to slot receiver, we on par with them. I do like ETN as a receiver. I actually like ETN more than most Jags fans do. I really do. I like Travis Etienne. I think he's a good receiver. And running back. I mean, think back to the beginning of the year when the Jags were on their run. Etienne was one of our best players. It would help to have another running back to give him a blow every once in a while. It would help to have an offensive line that can block for him. But I like Travis Etienne. Like, that contract coming up is going to be interesting because I think we should re-sign him. It's just, what's the running back market going to be? Not sure. Justin was a huge part of the Bears' problems, and yes, that receiver room is stacked. Trevor record before injury against the AFC was 15-5, says Kevin. I like that. Sheriff was hurt at Washington for 3 years and never made a whole season. The word is onomatopoeia, I think. I thought that. What was the word I was thinking of? I thought onomatopoeia was when like the word like zing or bang. I'm confused. My English literature is off a little bit here. That was the word I was thinking of, but I didn't want to say it. But I think you're right. That did come to mind immediately. Etienne is a beast. I want his jersey to go alongside my T-Law jersey. I want a Lawrence jersey so bad. I'm getting a throwback one. All right, next game. New England Patriots. Who I think was actually the worst team in the league last year. I know record-wise they weren't, but I legitimately think they were the worst team in the league last year. They had 4 wins last year. They added Drake May, obviously. Their running back is Ramondre Stevenson. They have Antonio Gibson also in the backfield. Hunter Henry. They have Demario Douglas, who I think is a better receiver than a lot of people think. Defense isn't bad. Matthew Judon. I know they're excited about getting Christian Gonzalez back in the DB. Christian Barmore, they drafted high. Jabril Peppers. People are excited about the defense. They drafted Jalen Poole in the 2nd round out of Washington. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to take a quick 2-minute pee break. Not professional. I know. Don't care. But I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. All right, I'm back. And for all of you that were so wondering so much last time, yes, I did wash my hands. You can actually see a little bit of water dripping off of them. Okay, I washed my hands. I know last time I took a bathroom break, A lot of discussion about washing hands and all of that. No discussion here. No discussion. Hands are washed. We're clean. We're good. Okay? I know how you guys are. Sea Breacher, Wani. Okay, I like it. Win next. Okay. Definitely between them and the Panthers being the worst. It's because of the line. It was the most pressure at the middle in the NFL, and ETN was just defense first thing to stop. I'll never get a running back's jersey in today's time. They swapped once the team runs them to the death. That's a good point, Robert. Robert also gave a great. Robert, like, I feel like when I'm Robert's age, I will be giving the same type of life lessons in comments that Robert gives. They're always like very wise, and they're always like, yeah, I should have thought of that. Very good. Very good, Robert. Very good. Thoughts on Yeah. Congrats, Bill. Absolutely congrats. Can you imagine I know this is a side tangent, my bad, guys, but this is just, can you imagine because he's dating like a 23-year-old. Can you imagine she's over at his house and they're eating dinner and she puts her dirty plate on the table or the counter or even in the sink. Can you imagine Bill Belichick I'm going to need you to take that dish and I'm going to need you to put it rinse it off and put it in the dishwasher. And can you imagine what? I mean, good for him. Good for him. But that Okie boy Harrison, a pancake machine in the making. ETN 5.1 yards a carry this year. Average 3.8. 5.1 did not seem right. I'm sorry. 3.8. His career is 4.4. See, Richard, do you think Trevor this season has a better win-loss record currently? He's 20-30. Oh, asking Sea Breacher. Maybe I should bring Sea Breacher on here. I'm sure we'd all love that to hear his sporadic thoughts. He's young, though. He's young. So he spews everything that comes to his mind. That's what we all do at a young age. When you get older, you learn to have a little filter between what comes to your head and what you're going to say, because that's what adults do. You just ran your hands under the sink. I hate y'all. I do hate y'all. The real question. My daughter is 32. I'm 52. No way I'm dating the same age group. Nasty. Okay. I guess that does bring a different perception to it. I'm a linebacker, cornerback, jersey guy. I got Smith, Poslunsky, and Mathis. I'm a quarterback guy. Quarterback, receiver, DN guy. Throwback, Freddie and Baselli jerseys. The London games suck. I'm usually on the West Coast. This game is on 6:30 in the morning. Oh. That woman is basically getting down with her grandpa. I got my jersey at the Ramona Flea Market. If you know, you know. I don't know. I do not know. For this year coming up, 5.1 was year before last. Oh, gotcha. So you're saying 2 years ago. Yeah, I mean, he's good running back. I like ETN. I do like ETN. Like, do not get me wrong. I actually think he's very undervalued by Jags fans. I really, really do. I like him a lot. That was a great pick when we made it. Bill the Thrill Belichick. No Viagra, just Mahomes tape. Billy, I'm a fan now. Kudos to Bill. People think, I know we're off the rails. I don't care. People think that like just because you have money, you can pull hot girls. And they're probably, but listen, it's not as accurate as you think. Like, I know we see examples of it happening from time to time, and we point to those examples and say, okay, this rich dude's got a hot chick. But you'd be surprised at the level at what, like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I have a good pulse on like the single scene. And like, I know some super, super rich guys, CEOs of companies, owners of companies. I know a guy who's worth $1 billion. I'm not kidding you. And like, I see him because he goes to the same place that I go often, you know, to watch games and things like that. And like, he definitely pulls younger girls, but you'd be surprised at how much money doesn't get you what you think it does in that aspect. I'm just saying. And when I was younger, I thought that it would. I thought that like, all right, you can like do whatever. But I'm just saying, like, I know what I'm saying is counterintuitive, and like, you're gonna be like, you're an idiot. We see Instagram models all the time with these old rich dudes, Hugh Hefner. Like, I those are all different situations. I would argue. I was just saying, you'd be surprised that like money doesn't buy you the level of attractiveness that you would think. So I'm just saying that to say, I think Bill Belichick actually might have a little more game than you guys think. That's all I'm saying. Stitch jerseys at Ramona off lane in Normandy. Bro, if I'm off lane in Normandy, it's during the day. That's for sure. Bill was doing more scouting than we thought. Good comment. I don't know if the cheating scandals will go away, but obviously cause problems in the relationship. Relationships are hard, Brett. As someone who has never been married or engaged to someone that's about to be engaged, relationships are hard. You can take my advice on that. $3 drafts at karaoke bar. Bro, I'm not going to Ramona. I'm not going out there, dude. I'm not. Jack's Beach is getting scary. You think I'm going to go to Ramona and Lane Avenue? Girls don't know he's a CEO. I'm a CEO, technically. Not someone that brings in a lot of money, but I own a couple businesses, actually. I own a couple businesses. I own one business. And then I have this YouTube channel, which falls under my LLC of my other business. Because if you have an LLC, things are a little less sketchy with the IRS. If you go to Ramona after 3 p.m., carry 1 or 2 bulletproof vests. All right, let's get back to the schedule. All right. Where were we? Green Bay. Okay. We're making our way. We're halfway through the schedule, boys. We're an hour in. So this is going to be a long show. Buckle up. Green Bay. Green Bay is going to be a tough game because they're riding a lot of momentum. And I know going into the season, they weren't a team that people thought were going to be good because they didn't know about Jordan Love, but they did win 9 games. They did make it to the second round of the playoffs. And a lot of people forget they only lost to San Francisco by 3 points. Jordan Love, Josh Jacobs, Christian Watson, they got it figured out. Preston Smith, one of the defensive linemen, has had 8 sacks in the last 3 seasons. They have Rashawn Gary, Quay Walker, Jair Alexander, Xavier McKinney. People are very excited about Devontae Wyatt, defensive tackle. Eric Stokes, cornerback, was injured last year, and he's going to year 2 or 3. People are really excited about him. Packers are a good team, but again, you don't know what they're going to look like when we get to that game. That's the thing. We don't know what they're going to look like. Is Jordan Love going to be healthy? Is their offense going to fall apart? Because teams have had now a season to figure them out, which is actually a bigger deal than people think. Some of you pointed that out in the Texans game. Definitely need some kind of talk game, or you're just a pay man. I'm telling you, dude. I'm telling you, bro. Like, the thing is, if you being a paymaster, if you are one of these people that's like paying for these girls everything, all of those girls have a guy on the side that's their age, and they're not doing as much as you think with the old guy. I'm telling you, bro, I've been around a lot of rich people. I've seen this situation a lot. These paymasters get played. They get played so hard. And they do it for the status. They want their friends to see them with the hot girl. But in reality, they're getting played so hard. Like, I hope I'm never in that situation where I'm paying for companionship. I really hope I'm not. It's not as luxurious as y'all think. It really isn't. Come on now. You got to get that gritty, greasy West Side fam. Listen, I got no problem with the West Side. I have no problem with the people over there. I know a lot of good people. I'm really connected in the school system. My business that I own is an athletic conference of a bunch of schools that are in it. And I have multiple West Side schools, and those principals and teachers and vice principals and deans and athletic directors, great people. The students are great people. I just don't want to be over there at night. That's the only thing I'm saying. It's a numbers game. Like, if you look at the crime map in Jacksonville, if you're not from Jacksonville, don't worry about it. But the crime map, it heavily favors the West Side and the North Side. So where I'm at, the East Side and the South Side is like the safest side. So nothing against those people. I love those people. I love all people. I just, like, statistically speaking, I'm going to keep myself safer by not being over there at night. All I'm saying. That doesn't make me any type of way. It doesn't make me prejudiced. It doesn't make me, I promise you it doesn't. It just makes me statistically safer. That's it. On a completely different note, finally got my first vehicle, and it's going to be decked out. And you're getting engaged, and you're just getting your first vehicle. Brett, I'm not going to tell you how to live, but that's a wild sequence of events. You're getting your first vehicle, and you're about to get engaged. I'm not saying it can't work or it won't work or that you're doing anything wrong, but that's a wild sequence of events. Green Bay will be a coin flip, but Savage won't be killing quarterbacks on a blitz. You guys know that. I'm not huge on Savage. I don't know, bro. Seen the ring camera video. I don't like that, Sea Breacher. I don't like that one bit. Next game. Philly. Now, on paper, Philly's the best team in the league. Sunday night game on the road. On paper, they're the best team in the league. They were 10-1 the start of last year. They ended 1-6. They lost in the first round to the Bucs. They have Jalen Hurts. They added Saquon Barkley. We all know A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are there. They added Paris Campbell. We know they have Dallas Goedert. We know they have a good O-line. We know their D-line's nasty with Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter. I like Nakobe Dean and Quinyon Mitchell. I would have drafted both those guys. They brought back C.J. Gardner-Johnson. They brought in Darius Slade Jr., and they drafted Cooper DeJean. On paper, best team in the league. Nick Sirianni, Kellen Moore. I like the Johnny Wilson pick from Florida State. I thought that was an interesting pick. I think he will be good in the NFL. I really do. It's just their 1-6 end of the year has some people kind of thrown off on what they're going to be. That's the only thing about the Eagles. Green Bay is always solid. It's been Lonesome is not a Green Bay fan. I know Brett is. It's been rough because of the passing of a bunch of family members. Kind of all right. Well, dude. Listen, that's why I don't judge. That's why for a second there I didn't judge you. I can't imagine what that's like going through that. But if I will say anything to you, which you don't need me to say anything, you don't. You got it figured out. I will say, from my vantage point and perspective, it seems like you've been in good spirits. So whatever you're doing, mentally and physically through the process of the passing of family members, it seems like you're doing well. Just going to put that out there. That's all I'm going to say about that, because I can't speak to that. Like, I don't know, but it does seem like whatever you're doing is working. So keep it up. And again, like I say to everybody, I say this and I mean this. And if you are like going through something and you need someone to like talk to the Jags with, like on Twitter or Instagram, just like message me and we'll sit there and talk Jags. I'll take your mind off of it. And whatever other kind of support I can do, I will. Dude, I love people. I love people. And I love you guys. And I say that all the time because I really do. So I'm sorry to hear that, Brett. Seems like you're doing well. Good luck on your future. It seems like you're doing well. You got someone that's stuck with you and wants to stay with you. Seems like you got your finances in order. You can't ask for more than that. Nice job. Raw Jeeves, not as a wild sequence of events as quitting the Patriots and wheeling a 24-year-old. The wide receiver coach said he told Trevor to try to overthrow Brian Thomas. Never did say what happened when he did. What's going run first, car or girl? What's going on? Hey, I will piggyback off of that, okay? Because Robert gave a great life lesson on our show last week. He said 2 words, don't forget, yes, dear. So I'm gonna transition that over to you and say, Brett, say yes, dear. Happy wife, happy life. Philly will be tough with Saquon healthy. Huge addition. We almost beat them at their place 2 years ago, and they had an off season last year, actually thinking we beat Philly, but lose to Green Bay. All right, Steven, I like that. Brother and sister. Yeah. Yeah, Brett, stay away from the Ramona flea market, bro. Hate you guys sometimes. What's the pool tickets run for? What game? Let's take the cheapest game here. All right, so according to this, we're going to go here. According to this, the cheapest game is the Colts and the Titans. So October 6th, Colts. October 6th, Colts, Jags, Cabana tickets. Can't spell, but that's okay. What is this? All right, we want the Cabana. So we want like I can't get Cabana. I mean, so I think, and here's why. I get it now. I remember now. It makes sense now. I'm just remembering. You can't just buy one ticket for the Cabana. You have to actually rent the entire Cabana. You have to rent the entire Cabana. So there's different, I think there's like 4 cabanas per side. So I think there's 8 cabanas total. You have to rent an entire cabana. And I think this is it right here. Fair and fair deck. You have to call and place a deposit. Yeah. So you have to rent the entire cabana out. I've been in twice, and I went both times with friends, companies they worked for, who their entire company rented the cabana, and then all their employees went. So that's how that works. That 412 section. All right, let's get back to the schedule. We're actually doing pretty good on time. I thought this show would be like 3 hours, and we're doing better than that. So look at us. All right, next game versus Minnesota. This is going to be interesting. Is at home. Fox game. I like that. I like some Fox sometimes. We look at the Vikings. They were 7-10 last year, but they had a variation of Kirk Cousins, Josh Dobbs, and CJ Mullins playing quarterback. They obviously just drafted JJ McCarthy. I read something the other day that he's never been a first-year starter ever, even in high school. So a lot of people are thinking he won't start this year. They have Aaron Jones, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson. The left side of their offensive line is pretty good. They drafted Dallas Turner in their first-round pick. They have Jonathan Bullard, Harrison Smith, Byron Murphy, and then our favorite Jacksonville Jaguar, Shaq Griffin, is on that team as well. Last year, their secondary was putrid. It was one of the worst secondaries in the league. They did draft Kyrie Jackson out of Oregon, and I like Kevin O'Connell. So, I mean, they have some things working for them. I'm not too concerned with them having a rookie quarterback this year. Rajiv says Minnesota's a dub. I think you're right. I cannot wait for Everbank to host WrestleMania. Can you do a live show, a live reaction to the new stadium vid they just posted? Yeah, I'll do it on Twitch. I'll do it on Twitch because if I do it on YouTube, then they'll copy strike me, which is fine. I just won't be able to monetize this show, which not like I make a bunch of money, but it is what it is. I'll be on Twitch, though, after this, and we'll watch it. Michael Thurman says, my prediction is 12-6. That's a hefty win total. I think their over-under is 8.5. Vikings should be a dub, says Isaiah. When I worked at NAS Jax, the USO hut at the gate, it could get you $10 tickets with parking passes and food vouchers. This was Gabbert Gus bus years, though, but I bet it's worth a look. So, not NAS Jax, but Mayport Naval Base. They have a golf course, and I'll go out there sometimes and play golf there. It's cheap. Anyone can go. And, yeah, but nice. I like it. Vikings are done for this year. Okay. Next game, Detroit at Detroit. (12-5) last year. They lost in the conference finals to San Francisco again by 3. Jared Goff, Dave Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams, Sam Laporta, good offensive line. Their defense has Aiden Hutchinson. They just traded for DJ Reader. Not traded. They just signed DJ Reader from Cincinnati. They really like Aleem McNeil, Marcus Davenport, Jack Campbell, Brian Ferentz. They drafted Terrion Arnold. They're going to be good again. They're going to be really good again. I really am worried about the Lions. That's probably a loss. Again, we're looking at week 11. So they're probably not as healthy as they always are. The Jags player aren't as healthy as they always are. But that's a tough game. That's a good team. Well coached. Good team right there. Thanks, Jags United, in higher spirits after getting a good laugh at this show. Good, Brett. I appreciate it. That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm glad you're here. Glad you're watching. And I'd be happy to do a collab anytime you want. Wouldn't be 12-5. Wouldn't it be? Would not be. I know what you're saying. Against my dad's team. Detroit will get some key injuries by then from playing on that turf so much. I like that, Rajiv. I like that. Not many teams are better than us. I see paper champs. Dan biting ankles in Detroit. All right, then we move on to week 12, which is, again, a late season bye week. And we'll be saying, oh, thank God we can get this guy healthy and this guy healthy and this guy healthy. We needed this week off. Another late season bye because you got to remember, like, mid-season's like week 9. So we're playing 3 games past mid-season for our bye week, which I guess isn't terrible, but then we go to Houston. We talked about Houston already. We play Houston at home. I'm sorry. Then we get Tennessee for the first time. We don't play Tennessee until week 14. Then we played them again in week 17. So they're, again, a late season team. And the Titans, I think, will be better than last year. You're looking at them being 6-11 last year. Obviously, they beat the Jags at the end of the season last year to knock us out of the playoffs, where Derrick Henry went for 153 yards. Their offense is going to be better. Will Levis, you guys know I like Will Levis. Tony Pollard, they added. Calvin Ridley, they added. DeAndre Hopkins is good. Tyler Boyd, they added. We know Okonkwo is going to tear us up at tight end. Peter Skronsky is a very good guard. They drafted J.C. Latham, 7th overall, to play tackle. They drafted Tavondre Sweat, 38th out of Texas. They have Harold Landry on the defense. They have Amani Hooker, L'Jarius Sneed. They got DB out of Kansas City. Roger McCreary, who at the beginning of the year was playing really bad, and then at the end of the year was playing really good, the DB. And then obviously they have Arden Key, I think. I don't know if he's still there. I think he's still there. But Jets, we need to win that one for sure. We're not there yet. We're a game away from there, lonesome. Our O-line would have to play perfect for Trevor to win in Detroit. Facts. Detroit, Texans, Philly. We split with the Texans again. We sweep the Titans and Colts. I hope so, Kevin. 3 years in a row, we take on the Titans at the end of the year. Wide receiver retirement home. Tyler Boyd, DeAndre Hopkins, and Calvin Ridley. I love the sentiment, Robert. My dad's team destroyed my team last matchup. We haven't beat the Lions, and I don't know how long, and I don't know if that's going to change this year. I don't know if it is either, Isaiah. I hate to tell you. Will Levis will have eaten too much mayonnaise by then. Dub. That dude Evan, who's joining the show an hour and 20 minutes in, says, yo, what up, that dude Evan? Glad you could be here. Ridley is washed. Hops looks so slow. So you guys agree with you guys? So you guys are okay. Okay. All right. I hope. Moving on. Week 15 at versus the Jets at home. Again, the Jets are one of these teams where, like, is Aaron Rodgers going to be playing by week 15? I personally hope not, because they were 7-10 last year without him. They beat Houston in week 14, 30-6. Zach Wilson threw for 301 yards, which we know Zach Wilson's no longer with them, but Aaron Rodgers, Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, Xavier Gibson. They drafted Fashanu, the tackle out of Penn State, 11th overall. Defense is not bad either. Jermaine Johnson, Javon Kinlaw, Hassan Reddick, former Jag former Jag Quincy Williams, brother of Quincy Williams, Quinnen Williams, CJ Mosley, and obviously Sauce Gardner. That team, that game might be the hardest to predict. It might be, because they weren't even really that bad last year without Aaron Rodgers. Just keep that in mind. 7-11 without Aaron Rodgers. Four and 2 against the division each of the last 2 years. For me, I hate our rivals in order of most to least. Indy, Tennessee, Houston. I think I would agree with that, Brett. I think I would agree with that. Aaron Rodgers has an ayahuasca trip planned for week 15 that he can't miss. When? Did you guys see this stuff on the internet about him seeing the Hat Man after a bad trip? If you know, you know about the Hat Man. But apparently he's seeing the Hat Man, which is not good. It's not good for the mentals. It's not good for the mentals. That boy CJ. Yeah, I don't know about that game either. I just don't know. I'm like, if their backup quarterback's playing, then we're probably okay. Moving on. Vegas, week 16. This is the last game we're going to talk about, because we already talked about the Titans and the Colts. Vegas, 8-9 last year. They're naming Aiden O'Connell the starter as of now, but I'm sure Gardner will be the starter. They got Zamir White. They obviously have Devontae Adams and Jacoby Myers, and they obviously drafted Brock Bowers, who's going to give us problems. I can already tell you right now. They have invested in their O-line recently. They have Colton Miller, Dylan Parham, who a lot of guys wanted out of Memphis, and then Jackson Powers Johnson, who a lot of guys wanted this year. So they have actually invested in their offensive line. So they're going to be better than they were last year. Max Crosby on defense, Christian Wilkins on defense, Divine Diablo on defense. Antonio Pierce is their head coach. Marvin Lewis is their assistant coach. They got Joe Philbin, former Dolphins coach. And fun fact, former Jags defensive coordinator, Mike Caldwell, is their run game coordinator. So run the ball against the Vegas. Run the ball against Vegas. That's the strat. Run the ball. If Mike Caldwell is calling that defense, yeah, run the ball. Most of these teams aren't better than us. An injury away from Aaron Rodgers, an injury from retirement, we beat most of these teams. CJ is overrated. AR5 is made of glass, and Levis is just poor man Kirk Cousins. I don't think CJ is overrated. It's hard to know if AR-15 is made of glass. He hasn't had a good track record of staying healthy, even back at the University of Florida. And I disagree with the Will Levis take. I think Will Levis is actually a good quarterback. I really do. The Hat Man is chill. He comes see me in my sleep paralysis, tries to kiss me. Pause. If you're seeing the Hat Man, you need some help. You need some help. If you're seeing the Hat Man, and I'm here to help. But if you're seeing the Hat Man, if you know, you know. Las Vegas might be a surprise, but I think we could sneak out there with a dub. Minshew and Max Crosby fresh off of Aaron Rodgers' ayahuasca trip, dub. Is Hat Man any relation to Slender Man? No. Close-ish, but not quite. This is the most we've talked about Jags at the end of the season. It is. It's a fun show. Hour and a half. Let's do it. What else are we going to do? What else are we going to do? Not talk about the Jags? Exactly. Beginner's luck for Stroud. Lonesome's laughing. Kirk Cousins is actually a solid quarterback, honestly. I think you're right. Our defense is going to be top 5 this year, so these high-powered offenses just got to show us our defensive front will be a problem. I hope so. I am a little worried about the secondary. I will admit. It's just Antonio Johnson starting. Andre Sisco was hurt. Campbell was hurt. Ronald Darby is kind of injury prone. I'm just worried about the secondary. And Darnell Savage, I just don't like. And I hope I'm wrong on that. Someone called Trevor the old man in the afternoon South, but I think he's younger than Will Levis. Yeah, he's like 25 now, I think. 24, 25. The Hat Man comes with the smiling girl sometimes. They just vibe, though. The Kirk comment was a compliment, not an insult. It'd be a poor man's Cousins if I could throw a football accurately. Injuries don't speak about it. It will be a jinx. We're not jinxing it. Jinxes, I don't know. I don't think jinxes exist. But the Hat Man also doesn't exist. But apparently it's a real thing. So 2025 draft will go corner guard. I mean, if Devin Lloyd does terrible, it could be off-ball linebacker. If Antonio Johnson does terrible, it'd be safety, I think. But maybe you're right. Yes, Maniac Saxonville returns. All right, so let me just give you. I'll just give you a quick score. I'll just give you a quick, a little soft prediction here. I'm gonna say win. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 wins. Hope I'm wrong. I hope it's more. I hope, and listen, I'm not being a pessimist. I'm really not. I promise you I'm not. And again, I do that tongue in cheek because there's no way any of us even have a clue of what the season is going to look like. Week 1, Tyreek Hill could blow out his ACL, and that game's probably a win. We just don't know. We have no clue. We have no idea. If this was a Madden simulation and you turned injuries off and you turned penalties off, I would say 9 wins. But we're not in Madden simulation with fabricated rules. We're in reality. So 9 wins, could be more if we stay healthy and play well. Could be less if we don't stay healthy and play terrible. I know that helps nobody. I know that's a cop-out answer. Don't care. It is what it is. You guys already know I hate doing score predictions. Bet the farm on 9. And what's funny is the Vegas over-under is 8.5. So 8.5. I have proof. 9, meh. I can't argue against it, but we need the turnover, whatever, to make that 11. Exactly. Like, that's the thing. Like, I'm right at Vegas's line. I'm actually a little bit over Vegas's line. Cam Boisvert just gave $10. Cam, bro. Love the show. Love the advice. Love the vibes. Hate this dead period. Cam, bro, I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Like, that is super nice. I'm super excited that you're here. I wish you could have been here earlier in the show when we were talking about old men and younger women. There was no advice there. There was no life lessons this show. But like I tell you guys all the time, I'm not a guy who plans life lessons. I'm not. Like, this is all coming from the heart. Everything here comes from the heart. I before this show started, I looked up a little bit about each team. I looked up their win-loss record. I looked up their depth chart, looked at some good players. But this is all coming from the heart. Like, it really is. So thank you, Cam. That means a lot. I never want people to think that I want them to give money to the show, because I don't do this for money. I do this because I love you all and I love the Jags, but I do appreciate it. I do have expenses that come along with this show, including this new streaming service. But again, I make enough money at my normal job to cover that. And I look at it as a hobby. We actually got a pretty sick sponsor for our new Wednesday night show that we're starting next month with UCF Jaguar and Jordan DeLugo. BetUS is sponsoring the show, and they're actually going to pay us to talk about the Jags and promote them. So that's cool, because I feel like think about any hobby that you do. Like, I like to golf. If someone paid me to golf, I would probably never stop. So it really is humbling that you guys would be channel members and you guys would come here and comment and you guys would talk about Jags with me, because this is what I love to do. And I would do this regardless. So Cam, thank you again. I appreciate it. We beat Vegas, and we're definitely sweeping the Titans and Colts to split with the Texans, so 10-11. The dub. Not the first time Jags United has been right above a Vegas line. Nah, I'm saying. I know what you're saying, and I'm not going to harp on that. I rewatch at the gym, gets me through the cardio. Hell yeah. Dude, the fact that you're doing cardio is great. I did kettlebell swings. So I was going to do legs today. That was my plan, to do legs. So I have a 6-day split. I'm pretty sure I've talked about it before. I'm on my leg day. I have two different leg days in my split. I have a push leg day where I do like leg presses, squats, hack squats, things like that. Then I have a pull leg day where I do like hamstring and glute focus, deadlifts, things like that. So today was my push leg split, and I went into the gym, and there are 5 squat racks at my gym, like pretty nice gym. All 5 were taken. So I was like, all right, I wasn't planning on being there more than an hour, so I wasn't going to just sit around and wait for a squat rack. So I looked over the kettlebells, looked pretty empty, thought to myself, I haven't done kettlebell swings in a while. So I did a little warm-up set where I did goblet squats with a kettlebell, just get everything loose and warm and all that. And then I did kettlebell swings. And not only did it burn my quads, but my heart rate was so elevated. I was like, this is like also cardio. So I appreciated being able to do that and change up my workout. Felt good. I followed it up with step-ups, where I stepped up on a box. And then the key to step-ups, like if you're holding weight and you step up on a box or like a bench or whatever, the key to step-ups is to step down as slow as you can, because that's like the other part of the muscle that slows you down. So, and then I did single leg pistol squats assisted by a TRX band, and then I got out of there. Cam, check out the Ramona Flea Market. Your $10 will probably go a long way at Ramona Flea Market. W show. Thank you, Kevin. Great show. Oh, thank you guys. Appreciate that. When does United get 5-star Denny on the show? I coached with Denny Thompson. I did. It's 5 points. It's 6 points. Are you talking about the same person? Yeah. No, I know Denny. I know Denny pretty well. Good guy. Great guy. I coached with him for 2 years. He was the offensive coordinator. I was the defensive backs coach. We always vibed because we both were like very lighthearted people. In the coaching arena and market circuit. Coaches are very like hard nosed and like no nonsense. And like Denny and myself were both like, let's crack a joke here. And so we always got along really well. Before I check out, do you think Doug's job is on the line this year? I think he's got one more year. Unless they win like 2 or 3 games, he's fine for one more year. $1.99 from Sea Reacher. Wow. Look at that. Sea Reacher giving his hard-earned cash. Says collaboration with Brett for the Packers game. Absolutely. I love collabs. I'm down with Sea Reacher. No, you're not. Be careful. I don't know if you watched the last show. Robbie says, well, I made it only an hour late. You're an hour and 35 minutes late, Robbie. Look at this Gardner Minshew sticker on the Yeti. I'm going to have to watch this on VOD. It's a long show, but I think it was pretty good. Yeah, get Denny on, bro. He's the man. All right, I'll try. I will try. The takeaway from today's show, Jags will be 9-8 again, so go to the Ramona flea market and pick up a younger woman. That's how we end the show, boys. That's how we end it. That is how we end it. Steven Giles takes the cake. He wins it. That's the takeaway from the show. Thank you. That's it. That's beautiful. That's how we're going to end this one. That's perfect. Well said, Steven. Well said. I'm going to be on Twitch here in about 5 minutes. It's in the video description. It is what it is. I'd recommend you do it. You try it and check it out. It's whatever. I seriously appreciate you guys. Thanks for coming and watching the show and being a part of the show. Sea Reacher with the $2. Cam Boysvert with the $10. I appreciate that. All of the channel members. I don't even have time to go through them all because there's so many, which is awesome. Cam Boysvert, Raw Jeebs, Shay. That dude, Evan. It would take me forever to go through all these, and I apologize if I miss you because I really appreciate you guys. Not only Full Cab was here. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. I will see you guys pretty soon. I'm going to try to do a show probably here the next couple days. So I'll be on. If you have any ideas that I should talk about, put them in the YouTube comments. Like the show before you leave. Hit the thumbs up. But put them in the YouTube comments or hit me up on Instagram. I've kind of been off Twitter for like a month and I don't miss it, but I'm on Instagram a lot now. So send it to me on Instagram, a DM. Any ideas for a show, like I would appreciate it because we're running out of ideas here, boys. But we don't have long. We're pretty soon we'll be in training camp. So be sure to be looking on that. Follow everything. Subscribe to everything. Be looking out for the Wednesday night shows that are starting here soon. I seriously, from the bottom of my heart, I love you guys. I can't wait to see you again. Until then, as always, go Jags.